Hi students, welcome to today's current affairs discussion. In this video, we are going to discuss some of the important news for the day from the Hindu newspaper dated 12 May 2026. Let's take a look at the Vijayawada edition of the Hindu. So, you can see on the screen Trump ice deal with China. So, today the world is witnessing a power shift. For long time in the 19th century, the Britain has been a superpower, the global leader, followed by the decline of the Great Britain. What we have seen is the USA, balance of power between Russia. After the Soviet collapse, the USA was the sole superpower in the entire world. After the USA enjoying the power at the global level, now we are seeing a shift in the power. The China is taking a lead, be it in economic terms, be it military terms, be it in scientific advancement, be it in terms of global influence. The China is overtaking the USA in, in a wide variety of matters. You can see that China, when it stops the supply of semiconductors, the USA's industry is entirely hit. So when it stops the, so if there is a trade war that happens, it is the USA that is going to get hurt more than the China. So the China finances much of the debt of the USA. Let's say we borrow money from the market, like that USA borrows more money. US securities, they are primarily invested by Chinese government and investors. Let's say if they withdraw that money, the USA government will have no money to finance its what we say infrastructure projects or welfare programs, etc., etc. So this is a very, so on the right next to it we have seen, I can see another news. Congress leader to remain Sringeri MLA. So the context for the year is electoral disputes. It comes under GS2, Representation of People's Act. We can say if there is any dispute related to elections, it can be only filed before the High Court through an election petition. So when the matter is not settled there, then they can go for the Supreme Court. The matter here, the context here is that the losing candidate claimed that some of the postal ballots were declared invalid, which led to him being declared as, which led to him lose by a narrow margin. The High Court called for recounting, where the losing, again this candidate went to the High Supreme Court. They gave another verdict declaring the previous MLA, Congress candidate, as still the MLA. So here we can see CM seeks center support for key water projects. We'll discuss in detail when we go in the next slides. So India has sufficient stocks of fuel commodities. So as per the Ministry of Defense, the information handout given, India has a 60 days of crude oil reserves, 60 days of natural gas, and 45 days of LPG rolling stock. That much stock is there. And India's forex reserve is 703 billion. That means we can finance for 11 months of India's imports through this foreign exchange reserves. It's called import cover ratio. Import cover. Import cover ratio, which tells how many months of imports can be met by the existing foreign exchange reserves of a country. So this is very important. And here we have been told that India is a 1.4 crore, 140 crore population country, which is a very big population. So meeting them, the fuel, gas, comes with a big challenge. So several countries in the world like China, Japan, they have a stock of 200, 300 days. Compared to them, the stock that we are holding is very much less. And in this context, I want to tell you one more thing. Have you heard about IEA? International Energy Agency. India approached to become the member of International Energy Agency, but it was not given so. Can any one of you in the comment box tell why the reason for India not being admitted to the International Energy Agency? The fact is very simple. Any country that aspires to become a member of the Energy Agency should have a minimum of 90 crude oil, natural gas stocks. So under the current, we can say only 60 days stock. We don't have 90 days. So energy security is a very important from the GS3 energy security. So this article is GS3, GS2 for important from both this perspective and even GS1 also. So in the last year GS1 question, they have been asked, what are the global occurrences of oil reserves? In GS2, how does the recent conflict in the Middle East affects the India's energy security? GS2 question. GS3, how can India boost its inflation in energy security? What will be its impact, the fallout? Let's say when we are importing crude oil, when the crude oil prices go up, we have to ultimately increase the what we say the retail prices, which ultimately like increase the cost of transport, the cost of living, the inflation will go up. That standoff between the Trump and Iran still continues with no. So here it's not in the context of the context of our news, but still I share. You can use this point in GS4, like quoting in essay or quoting in the ethics GS4 answer. After becoming the chief minister, the present chief minister C. Joseph Vijay met the previous chief minister M.K. Stalin, which is a good sign. The healthy spirit of customary address being given to the previous predecessors and respect to the the opposition leaders. In a democracy, the ruling and opposition should respect each other. So the Lokesh calls for a digital trade corridor between Singapore and seaports in AP. So if you so we all have known that the previous Chandrababu Naidu government also there has been talks of tie-up between Singapore and Andhra Pradesh for development of Amaravati capital. So this is called para diplomacy, where states play a key role in the foreign policy matters. Let's say, what we say, Mumbai, and it's tied up with some Tokyo. The both cities collaborate with each other in terms of planning, finance, and all. That is called para diplomacy, where a federal government collaborates with the central government of another country through the consent of the Ministry of External Affairs. That is called para diplomacy. So states influence foreign policy, discuss the role of states in foreign policy. Like kind of questions can come across. You may see in the future years in the GS2. In the PSR optional, the questions have been already asked. So recently there has been a big news about Hanta virus. What is Hanta virus? So it has been reported about a cruise ship sailing near the coast of Spain. So it is comes from the rat. So regarding Hanta virus, what is the role of WHO? So previously there has been a question about WHO. Discuss the role of WHO in ensuring the global health security. So what role does WHO plays? What is Hanta virus? How is it caused? What are the affected countries? How will it affect India? Like these questions we can develop. See, this paper is not, it's not about just someone will tell you, we will learn. It's about curiosity. We have to know something. That's kind of curiosity will enable us to move forward in this process of UPSC preparation. So here CM seeks center support for key water projects. So interstate water disputes. This has been very much interstate water disputes. You can see lot of, like you can see Mulla Periyar Dam across the Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Almaty Dam between Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. There are so many projects where the states have been involved in disputes. So we have in the constitution provision that central will constitute interstate river water tribunal, and then we also have central water commission. So those who are preparing for the APPSC Group 1 exam, they need to keep this very much important. Like Karnataka Almaty Dam, it is located on Krishna River. So Odisha's Neradi barrage. So when we build a barrage, the water, the backwater will go across other state also. See, let's say Polavaram. Polavaram project is located in Andhra Pradesh. But when you build a dam of this much height, when the water is stored, it will lot of area will get submerged. So for the Neradi barrage, they are asking for the support of Odisha government for land acquisition. And Banakacharla Polavaram Banakacharla link project aimed at diverting surplus Godavari floodwaters to the drought-prone regions of state. So the questions can ask, what are the various irrigation projects in the state? How are they going to benefit? So in the last year, the AP Group 1 mains, they have been asked the question about what we say interstate river water disputes. What are the various water disputes involving Andhra Pradesh? Krishna project, Godavari River. Neradi barrage and Vamsadhara River. Where is Vamsadhara River? It is flows in the northeast, sorry, in the Uttarandhra region. What we say, the coastal, north coastal Andhra. So here we have another important article. The World Bank and ADB delegation reviews Amravati capital works. In the present era, where the state governments and central governments don't have enough funds, so they go and approach the international bodies for loans, which will sponsor for capital works. So in the group 2 question, we have question, which are the following organization is sponsoring the Amravati capital funding the? It is World Bank. So the projects of external assistance for the group 1 and APPSC group 2, this article becomes very important. World Bank and Asian Development Board. So here we have an important editorial, a new phase in the India-Vietnam relations. So India-Vietnam, a few years before, a question has been asked about Vietnam. What kind of, it's a communist country. So Vietnam is a unique country. Those who are not known the Vietnam, I will tell a few facts about it. It defeated USA, the mighty USA, in the Vietnam War. So Vietnam is a communist country, one party rule, and it's extremely manufacturing, low manufacturing, and 9 GDP comes from exports. It's a major export hub. That means we can learn a lot from Vietnam model. So it's look east policy, and we also approved some of the sale of some of the defense equipment to Vietnam. So Vietnam, the location. So immediately when we hear something, immediately we have to refer to the Google. Where is Vietnam located? What is its strategic significance? So Vietnam, we can see. So if you search the Google Vietnam, so it's a part of ASEAN Association for Southeast Asian Countries. So when you read, India has recently, we have transferred a missile corvette to KIST policy. Recently, the Vietnam president was visiting the country. So India and Vietnam share cultural linkages by the way of Buddhism, by the way of shared traditions. I will. Prime Minister Modi once asked the Vietnam visiting Vietnam president, "Why did not you bring your wife?" Then Vietnam president replied that my wife was back home to watch the one of the famous serial of Ramayana. So that means it tells the example of soft power. That means even Ramayana is so popular in Vietnam that even a president wife has to skip coming India to just to have a watch of it. That means you can use this kind of words in the writing the your main answer. So NCW flags toxic work culture, zero post compliance at TCS office. So let's leave aside what is the masala, what is the news, that's everything. So here we need to understand what is the role of NCW, National Commission for Women, when it is constituted, why it is constituted, what role does it play, and what is the Post Act Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act, when it was the act came into force to 2013, Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act. So previously it was given by Supreme Court in the Vishaka guidelines case, Vishaka versus State of Rajasthan case. So ahead of UAE visit, PM to meet Iran foreign minister and BRICS ministers. So we need to, that last year we have a question about BRICS. Why BRICS is important for India, or what are the member countries of BRICS, how the BRICS works. These all kinds of questions are important. So we all know that MG Narega scheme was replaced by the VB Viksit Bharat Gramin. So VBG Ramji. A new act has replaced the MG Narega scheme. Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission Gramin. What are the changes between the previous act, the new act? These all need to be known to us. It increased the employment days from 100 days to 125 days in every financial year. So under the new scheme, the states and center, the wage bill will be 60 to 40 ratio. Let's say the wage bill of MG Narega is, let's say, 1 crore. 60 lakhs will be paid by center, 40 lakhs will be paid by state government. In the previous MG Narega Act, the 100% of the wages are paid by center. So Trump eyes deal with US as USA decline. So now USA needs China than anything. No, USA needs China rather than China needing USA. The three T's: the trade, Taiwan, and technology. Critical minerals with the Indo-Pacific region. So with this, we end our today's discussion of current affairs. Take a quick look of today's Inadu paper for the for a benefit of the Telugu aspirants who are preparing for the Group 1 and Group 2 exam. So, మొదటి పేపర్లో మనం చూడొచ్చు పోలవరం ప్రాజెక్టు గురించి. సో పోలవరం ప్రాజెక్టు యొక్క ప్రత్యేకత ఏమి? పోలవరం ప్రాజెక్టు బనకచెర్ల ప్రాజెక్టుకి అనుమతి ఇవ్వండి. జలశక్తి మంత్రి సిఆర్ పాటిల్కు ముఖ్యమంత్రి చంద్రబాబు వినతి. సో పోలవరం ప్రాజెక్ట్ ఎందుకు ఆంధ్ర రాష్ట్రానికి చాలా ముఖ్యం? బనకచెర్ల ప్రాజెక్ట్ అంటే ఏమి? ఇవన్నీ మనం తెలుసుకోవాల్సిన విషయం చాలా ముఖ్యం అన్నమాట. సో గుజరాత్ సోమనాథ్ ఆలయంలో జలాభిషేకం పాల్గొన్న ప్రధాని నరేంద్ర మోదీ. సో సోమనాథ్ ఆలయం ఎందుకు ఇంపార్టెంట్ భారతదేశ చరిత్రలో? సోమనాథ్ ఆలయం